Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Football Pundits podcast. We are here to review Champions League match between Real Madrid and Atlanta. This video is sponsored by Jersey Republic. So let's start right away into the preview. We'd like to welcome two special guests who are Real Madrid fans, Jonathan and Yash. Welcome to the episode. So let's start with you guys. What do you think of this match? Where do you think Real Madrid stands in terms of this big game?
I think right now very inconsistent. Obviously, if you see Abhi jo scene chal raha hai, for example, if you talk about the previous game, they're playing a back three. And I think the first good thing happened for Madrid was like Marcelo played and the team won. ये पूरे season नहीं हुआ. And I think that was a tactical decision because Mendy played a centre back and थोड़ी freedom थी Marcelo को. But overall, I think everything is sort of very bad because Sergio Ramos, the captain, is heavily linked. I think Man United, Kshitij sir would be happy. But would you be happy, Kshitij sir? Like to have a 35-year-old Ramos?
It's a love-hate relationship with Sergio Ramos, so we'll see about that.
Mm-hmm.
You should be so lucky. He's never going to go there.
Right. But yeah. I mean, Zidane got COVID positive. He's back now. But Florentino Perez got COVID positive. Hazard is injured again. So, but the good news also is Carvajal and Lucas Vazquez are back. So I think against Atalanta is doing very well. And I think one excuse which I had about Atalanta was like Papu Gomez would be out. Like he joined Sevilla, so like it'll be easy. But no, I think they are winning games even after that and betterly. So they're in the Coppa Italia final. So I'm scared. I don't think so. I won't be surprised if Madrid do not get past them. But Madrid is Madrid. So we all know that when it matters the most, Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, the Benzema, everything, they click. So we're hoping for that. That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page with you, Yash. Like, I missed that player when we were talking about the Sevilla and Dortmund preview. He went to Sevilla. Mm-hmm. I think he's a player that Atlanta is going to severely miss in their time.
Right.
And I think
they got a lot of talent. I think they got a very interesting midfielder, Matteo Pessina.
Pessina, yeah.
I won't say he replaces him directly, but I think they've got options, But they're doing well. Gasperini is a smart manager.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be surprised if Real don't go through in this tie. Like, I feel like Atlanta is a very expansive and a very counter-attacking game. Gasperini is doing a splendid job over there. I feel like, and they have the players like Ilicic and Zapata are playing like super nice, super well, and
right.
Yeah, I think they can definitely trouble Real in their time. And
sure,
given that they have their first leg at home, I can definitely see Real not scoring. And that already finishes up the tie because they don't have any away goals, and Real will have to score somewhere between 3 to 4 goals to win that tie.
I don't see us not scoring. I think if we have,
it might happen. I'm just saying, yeah.
We have a lot of problems at the defensively and maybe and offensively, but I can definitely see us squeezing in a few goals there. I do agree though that if there is a team that's going to knock out Madrid, Atalanta looks like they could be that team. They're although they've been inconsistent this year, they're not that high up in the table on Serie A, and they've had a few players with problems that of people leaving and stuff. But I think all around, I think they're going to give us a tough match. I think the problem with us right now is our injury list is really long. We have a lot of people out injured, and we're planning to replace people and play people in positions that they're not supposed to be playing, like Mendy at center back. I think he did good for that one game. I don't think that's a long-term solution. I think he's going to have to. I would rather see him at left back and Marcelo back on the bench. I think our problem right now is our forward line. I don't know what our best front three is anymore. I mean, obviously Benzema's our number 9, but the wingers, all of our wingers, they've had good games, they have bad games. Sometimes they score, sometimes they don't. I don't know who's going to be up there. It's up in the air.
I think the one point which is Asensio is back. Asensio is a very good, talented player. So he looks fit. He's making those dribbles. And also Vazquez is back. So Lucas Vazquez is very important. I think Zidane trusts him, and especially on the right hand side, Carvajal and Vazquez, they have a very good relationship. So that could be something for the future, maybe for Atalanta. But yeah, I mean, Vinicius, you can't rely on him, in terms of finishing especially. So there's questions, obviously, front line regarding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, is Ramos also injured?
Yes.
I believe Ramos is injured, and
Right.
in the last 10 matches, the ones he has not started for Madrid, I think Madrid have actually lost 8 of those matches. So
In the Champions League.
huge impactful player for Madrid because of the headers he wins and the penalty he scores.
I think Ramos didn't play the last Champions League game that Real played against Lyon, was it? And Rafael Varane was a complete mess in that game.
It was City.
Yeah, it was City, sorry.
City.
So Rafael Varane was a complete mess in that game. So Rafael Varane without Sergio Ramos is like a kid looking for his mother in the playground.
I think Varane, I think he's turned around from that game. I think he had it was just a weird off game. It was really bizarre. If you've seen the way he's been playing recently when he scored 2 goals to win us the game, like just a couple games ago, I think Varane has kind of turned things around. I think he wasn't ready to be like have all that pressure on him without Ramos beside him. I think now we're seeing Varane kind of rise up to the challenge a little more and take on that leadership role. I think he's going to be okay. I think if we're going to have a problem, I don't think it's going to be with Varane. I'm more concerned about who's next to him.
That's why Zidane is opening his tactical acumen, sort of Mendy in the defensive position. So if he can provide for Varane, if that could be something which might happen in the future. So that's why Mendy is also playing there. But I think overall, and again, won't be a surprise if Atalanta doesn't upset.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's we never talk about is Hazard, but obviously he has never started so much consistently for the team that we can actually count him as an impactful player for Madrid now because of the number of injuries and the number of games he's missed so far. But what do you think? Do you think he will be a huge miss for the fixture, or you cannot actually predict because he has actually not had any impact in Madrid so far in his career?
I don't think he'll be a huge miss. I think he would be a huge plus if we did have him. I don't think he'll be a huge miss. We won the league last year with him barely in the team. I don't think we really rely on him too much. It is really sad because he was just starting to get his form. He had that great game where he has scored a goal and an assist in the first half. He looked back to his best, working his magic. It's sad that he's gone, but I don't think we're reliant on him. I think we're very reliant on Ramos at the back, and we're very reliant on Benzema up front, and of course our midfield 3.
I specifically remember the restart of the La Liga last season when after the pandemic hit, and then we had the 4-month gap. I saw that Ramos was scoring almost in every game at that point, and we were like, maybe he has filled in the shoes for Ronaldo going away. So that was something which was pretty evident at that time. And now that he's actually at the verge of actually his contract expiring, and maybe he's moving to maybe PSG or Man United, those are the 2 big rumors which are flying around right now. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think Real has been the most lucrative paid vacations for some of the players, like Gareth Bale playing golf last year. Eden Hazard has been like ever since he joined Real Madrid, all he's been doing is
half of wages of Gareth Bale will stay playing.
Yeah, I understand that. And ever since Eden Hazard has joined the club, he has like been enjoying his Thanksgiving dinner ever since. I don't know what he's doing there. So I don't know why Real Madrid has become such a huge paid vacation for these 2 players. But like from the kind of team that they had just 5 seasons ago, and from what the team they have now, like they haven't made that proper transition into the next future, the next set of players that they should have. And like going to Atlanta is a very young team and a very like fast-paced attacking team. I highly doubt Real with the kind of players that they have and the kind of team that Atlanta is going to put out. Even with Diallo and Papu Gomez not in the team, Real would be able to handle Atlanta. I don't think that.
Right, but when we watched the El Clasico, Madrid was not in a good form, but they put a surprise.
Barcelona is not in a good form too. Like
they are doing
El Clasico this season is not a good parameter to judge a team from.
But look at
any team. If you talk about Atletico Madrid, the Madrid derby, they won that too.
Yeah,
Real Madrid. So when it matters, Madrid were they barely qualified for the next stage of Champions League. Like they defeated Borussia Mönchengladbach and then Inter Milan, both the games. So those are not easy games too. So when it matters again, it can happen. But it's a very interesting tie, definitely.
But that's the thing.
I think what I think is that it's just a matter of experience. Atlanta probably might lack with the fixture because of their inexperience in the knockout continental football stages. And I think if Real Madrid just don't overthink, they're going to get out of this easy. I don't think, personally, I don't think Atalanta would give a fight. I would want to see that, but looking at the squad and looking at the experience, I think the only thing I've been telling that, because no matter what form you have in the league, the Champions League is a completely different stage. It has a completely different impact under pressure on players because they have to perform individually, not because of the club. They want to perform individually because they need to have that individual international recognition. So especially the knockouts, because that is basically like it's a bragging rights. It's a statement that even if like there are teams who are not performing good in leagues, they perform like with an extra effort in Champions League because they believe that this is the point where they need to prove themselves better. They should come out of this fixture in a better light. So I believe if they just don't overthink a lot of things about what Atalanta can do and whatnot, if they play their own game, I think Zidane would do his tactical acumen and would get out of this fixture without any hassle, according to me.
I feel like then I think you've not been following Atalanta for a while then, because if you see their game, it is mostly if you even see their performances, they're more a cup team than a league team. So in the cup tournaments, they've done so well. Even the last year, they won the Coppa Italia. They won against Juventus, and they have the same.
I think they went quite far in the. I think they went to. PSG defeated them. Was it quarters or semi?
In the last moments, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then again, they lost a 5-0 home loss against Liverpool, right? But they again had that as well.
But then they also defeated Liverpool at their home.
And then they finished. Yeah, right. They did. But then they finished second in the table. Right. So I believe there is a huge.
I was coming to the point.
See a lot of goals.
I was coming to the point where, like you said, like PSG defeated them last year. It was a one-legged affair. Plus, because PSG had their impact players, I don't see any impact players right now in Madrid that I can fairly say that it's going to be a fairly easy tie, and they're going to easily, roll past Atalanta. I don't see that happening because it's feel like maybe Real wins. I'm always going to want like Real to win, but at this point of time, the way the season is going, I don't see like there's no Cristiano Ronaldo where he can just make sure that there is one player who's just going to make sure that they reach.
Who's going to drag your team across the line? Yeah.
No, but don't you think it's time you start looking past Ronaldo? I mean, he's been gone for 2 years now. I mean, I think it's high time you stop including him in the conversations for Madrid anymore. So
yeah. I mean, no, but like we had Ramos. But it's like Ramos is under his contract negotiations right now. I don't know where his headspace is at, and he's not been the same impact player as he was in the after the pandemic, after the season restarted last year.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think it's a matter of where his head's been at. I think his head is definitely at Madrid, where his heart is in Madrid. The man bleeds white. I don't think he's confused about that. I think it's more the injury that he's been dealing with. It's kind of a serious injury. And I think getting back to fitness is kind of difficult after an injury like that. Mm-hmm. But if we've seen the games that he's played this season, he's been pretty solid. He's been pretty consistent. I don't think he's not a young man anymore, but he still has a big impact. And I think more importantly, he has a really loud voice in that dressing room.
Exactly. I think people need the leader in fight for right now. So
but he needs to be there, right? Like I don't think he is playing in that game. Like I think he's still injured. So
yeah, but I think also you're overlooking our midfield. Our midfield, they may not, be goal scorers like Ronaldo or whatever, but we have a very solid midfield. I think honestly, in my opinion, the best midfield in the world. Casemiro, Modric, Cruz, and Valverde on the bench. I don't think people can beat that midfield. I don't think anyone can.
Yeah, it is one of the stronger midfields we know, but they definitely do not have the impact right now as they used to in the past. So that is something which I think is still a missing link for Madrid.
I think I would disagree. I think they have been in fact impactful. I think it's about like all the puzzles when they come together. For example, again, I'll allude you back to Lucas Vázquez and Carvajal. I think when they come, you see Madrid at a whole different intensity. Like in terms of having the ball, in terms of being aggressive, in terms of whenever they lose the ball and pressing again. So Vázquez is a very good outlet for that. And I think that's the game. Like if you put any name for that game, it's intensity. Who is more intense? Because Atalanta will definitely give that. And if you're quick when you have the ball, I think players like Vasquez and Carvajal. But again, like Carvajal gives away some silly penalties, and Mendy can do that too. So I mean, the midfield still delivers. I think Modric is the second top scorer of Madrid right now. If you like, Benzema scored 11 goals, and I think Modric is there. Even Fede Valverde is injured right now. I think he might come back, so that could be something also interesting. So the midfield always delivers. I think that's why Zidane is playing them consistently all the time.
Yeah, fair point.
I mean, to get our closing thoughts on this preview now, what do you think? It's time for the predictions. What do you guys think will be the scoreline for this two-legged affair?
Across the two legs or first leg first?
Yeah, two legs. You can let me know the aggregate score.
I think I would definitely want to see goals. 5-4 Madrid. I don't know.
5-4. Oh, that's a spicy fixture. I mean,
why not?
Yeah,
it's the way to.
I think I'm also going for the same thing. Like, I think mine is 4-4 or 4-3. I'm gonna go for an Real win. Yeah.
Okay, Jonathan.
Oh, this game has me nervous. I really hope we can walk them, but I don't see it happening. I think it's gonna be very, very tight. I'm gonna go 3-2 on aggregate.
Okay, Anshuman. 3-1 for
to Real.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be the opposing force. I'm going to say Real is going to win 4-0 in the first leg, and Atlanta is going to go 5-0 in the second leg.
You're saying
that is an absurd prediction.
This absurdity is going to be all about the away fixture in this game. I think Madrid play the first away game. I think they have Atlanta's home.
Yeah.
So let's see. But yeah, I mean, Madrid definitely don't have a very good home record this season, I believe.
You don't have a home. The talk when you don't have a home. We're not even playing in the Bernabeu for a while, so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 3-3 with Madrid taking it on away goals. So, but let's see what happens.
Interesting. Right.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So there you have it, folks. Our predictions and our preview for the Champions League match. Thank you to Yash and Jonathan for joining us on this podcast. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our videos, and do not forget to click on the bell icons and follow us on the social media handles which are mentioned in the top of the screen. And do not forget to follow these guys on the social media handles who links you'll find in the description below. Thank you.